In this tutorial, we shall learn about the use developer exception page middleware. We shall also learn that a developer exception page provides a lot of information about an unhandled exception. This information can be used for troubleshooting the cause of failure. We shall also verify that this page is enabled only for an app running in development environment. First of all, open Visual Studio and create a simple ASP.NET Core project. I have created an ASP.NET Core project of just one Razor page called index. Double click to open this page. As we can see, this page has a link which is connected to a handler called myClickHandler. Now open the index model class. We can see that this function throws a test exception. For our purposes, this will be an unexpected and unhandled exception. I have made no other change. This project was created through Visual Studio 2022 running .NET 6. And just for record, let us have a look at the program.cs file also. As you can see, it is a simple file of a few lines of code and it sets the environment to development. Now just for curiosity, let's see what happens when an unhandled exception is thrown. Run the project without debugging by using Ctrl plus F5 key combination so that Visual Studio doesn't break on the line that throws our artificial exception. The usual behavior of Visual Studio is to break to the line that throws the exception. We do not need that behavior here. So let us start the project directly with Ctrl plus F5. Allow the index page to open. Click the link to invoke the click event handler and let it throw an artificial exception. We observe that ASP.NET Core catches the exception and returns a fairly detailed error page. I am sure you must already be familiar with the looks of this page. This page is called Developer Exception Page. And let us have a look at the features of this page. Firstly, ASP.NET Core automatically enables a developer exception page if the app runs under development environment. No action needs to be taken at your end for enabling it. It is automatically done for you by the startup code. This happens through various behind the scenes calls in the